a child of sorrow, Ekemma the Ogbanje, Ekemma, a name that meant beauty, but in the village of Andulo it was a name whispered with fear. Ekemma was an Ogbanje, a spirit child. She was trapped between two worlds, the spirit world and the world of the living. Her existence was a torment to her family, a constant reminder of death's shadow. Ekemma was born after 3 stillborn children. Her arrival brought both joy and dread. Joy for her mother, Neka, who yearned for a living child. Dread for the villagers who knew the ways of Ogbanje. They were beautiful, yes, but their beauty was a deception, a lure to break their parents' hearts. The elders warned Neka. "This child is not yours to keep," they said. "She will leave you, just as the others did." But Neka refused to listen. She clung to Ekemma with a fierce love. She would not believe her daughter was anything but a blessing. Whispers in the wind. Unease in Andulo. From the start there was something strange about Ekemma. Her eyes held a wisdom beyond her years. They seemed to see things others couldn't, things that sent shivers down the spines of those she looked upon. The villagers spoke in hushed tones. They said she wandered the forest at night, talking to unseen companions. Animals, too, sensed her difference. Birds would fall silent when she was near. Dogs would whine and tuck their tails between their legs. Even the wind seemed to whisper her name, eerie and unsettling. Andulo had always been a peaceful village, but Ekemma's presence cast a pall over everything. The laughter of children became less frequent. The drumming and singing at night ceased. Fear, like a venomous snake, had coiled itself around the heart of the village. Neka's defiance, a mother's love, tested. Neka saw none of this, or perhaps she chose not to see. She doted on Ekemma, showering her with love and affection. She adorned her with beads and bracelets. She sang her lullabies and told her stories of brave hunters and beautiful maidens. The villagers pleaded with Neka. "You must let the Dibia see her," they urged. "He can sever the ties that bind her to the spirit world." But Neka refused. She would not hear of it. She believed that her love was strong enough to break any curse. Her defiance, though born of love, only served to further isolate her from the village. She became an outcast, a pariah. But she didn't care. As long as she had Ekemma, she was content. The eyes that saw too much. Ekemma's haunting gaze. As Ekemma grew, so too did the strangeness surrounding her. She spoke rarely, and when she did, her voice was a low, haunting murmur. She would often be found staring at the river that flowed near the village, her eyes reflecting the murky depths like a dark mirror. Sometimes she would cry out in the night, screaming of things no one else could see, of shadowy figures and voices that called to her from the water. Neka would rush to her side, holding her tight, whispering soothing words. But even in her mother's arms, Ekemma's eyes remained distant, lost in a world only she could see. Then came the night that changed everything, the night of the screaming birds. A storm raged outside, the wind howling like a banshee. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the terrified faces of the villagers. Suddenly, Ekemma, who had been unusually quiet all day, bolted upright in bed, her eyes wide with terror. "They're here!" she screamed. "They've come for me!" Neka tried to calm her, but Ekemma was beyond reason. She ran from the hut, disappearing into the storm. The villagers watched in horror. They knew what it meant. The spirit world had come to claim its own. The next morning, the storm had passed. But the village of Andulo was shrouded in a different kind of darkness, the darkness of grief and fear. Ekemma was gone, vanished without a trace. The villagers searched high and low, but she was nowhere to be found. Only Neka knew the truth. She had followed Ekemma that night. She had watched in horror as her daughter, bathed in the eerie glow of the moon, walked into the river. The water had closed over her head, and then silence. The river had claimed her, just as the elders had warned. In the aftermath of Ekemma's disappearance, Neka was inconsolable. She had lost her daughter. The villagers whispered that she had brought it upon herself, that her defiance had angered the spirits. They treated her with a mixture of pity and fear. Andulo, once a place of laughter and joy, was forever changed. The fear that had taken root during Ekemma's life lingered, a constant reminder of the unseen forces that governed their lives. The villagers would never forget Ekemma, the Ogbanje child, the child who had haunted their dreams. The story of Ekemma is more than just a ghost story. It is a reflection of the Ogbanje belief, deeply ingrained in Igbo culture. Ogbanje are believed to be spirits that torment their families by dying young and being reborn repeatedly to the same mother. This belief, though seemingly fantastical, speaks to the very real pain of infant and child mortality. It is a way for people to cope with the inexplicable, to make sense of the senseless. The rituals and beliefs surrounding Ogbanje, though often viewed with skepticism by outsiders, are a testament to the power of culture and tradition. They offer a framework for understanding and navigating the complexities of life and death. The tale of Ekemma, the Ogbanje Mami water, is still told in hushed tones in the villages along the Niger River. It serves as a cautionary reminder of the unseen world that exists alongside our own, a world where spirits walk among us, where the line between life and death is thin and easily crossed. Ekemma's story is a story of sorrow and loss, but it is also a story of love. The unwavering love of a mother for her child, a love that transcended even death. And in the end, isn't that what truly matters? The love we share, the memories we hold dear, these are the things that endure long after we are gone.